About 10 years ago, a man walked into my office and asked to speak to me, and I go down to the conference room to meet him, and why are you here? He said, well, I was referred to you by an attorney that said you do product liability cases. I said, I do. What do you have? He said, well, I have an artificial hip that broke. And I hadn't heard of that. There were a lot of artificial hip failure cases that had come to light around that time, which were a result of what's called a metal-on-metal failure, where the bearing surface sheds metal ions. This man had a hip that broke, and that caught my attention. And what he had was what is known as the Wright Medical Profemur hip system. This is one right here. The way these things work, this is the artificial femur, goes down into your femur when they cut out your defective or arthritic original natural hip. And they put this down in your femur and they assemble it. During surgery, they put this little modular neck, it's called, into the hip stem. And then they put the femoral head on top and they sew you back together. Well, this man had had his hip for 3 or so years when all of a sudden it just broke right in two. It just snapped in half. And what happened was this piece here, it's called the modular neck, it wiggles just a little bit. It's called micromotion, and fretting corrosion. Corrosion occurs. And over time, a fracture occurs. It's like bending a paperclip over and over and over again. And eventually, in this man and in hundreds of other people now, that piece just breaks right off. And that, I thought, was a pretty interesting product case. I said to myself, if broken him, there are probably more of these. And it turned out he was one of the early breaks. There had hardly been any litigation over this product at that time. So I took his case, and the more I learned, the more interested I got. Got a good result for this client. Then I started looking for other cases. I would search the internet for other filed cases, talk to those attorneys. I would go to legal meetings and speak about my experience with this product. I wrote some articles about this product, and more cases started coming my way. What we lawyers like to do is find somebody that knows the product and work with them. I took it upon myself to become the person in the country that knew the most about the Wright Medical Profemur modular neck fracture. And as a result of that, I've had about 100 cases now in the past 10 years against the company that made this. And I continue to get referrals from other lawyers. I continue to have people find me on their own from their own internet research. And it's become a very big part of my practice doing product liability cases against Wright Medical Technology for the fracture of their hip products.